everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Atheist Apostate. Here's the AA, your host. I was watching Mormon Stories with John Dillon this morning, and I'm a former member of the LDS Church, Mormon for you people, LDS for those who are Mormon. And I was watching this Mormon apologist about a talk, and John brings up a really good issue here. Why does it matter based on what this Mormon apologist is going to say? And I'm not going to set up anything here, so we are going to go right into the clip right away. So, and we are going to hear what he says, and then we're going to come and tell you and set everything up. So let's get on over there, boom, and let's start it.
Terryl Givens is still a full-time employee, benefits, salaried, Mormon Church's top apologist. And so that's one of the reasons.
Okay, let's stop right here. This is the, and let's switch back over. This is the Mormon's top apologist, employed by the church. He has a salary. This is what he does for a job. He goes around from ward to ward, stake to stake, giving firesides, giving talks, and explaining the LDS Mormon side of the apologetics to discomfortable, can't get it out today, questions that the average member does not know about. So let's flip back over here and let's get back over here and go, boom.
Reasons why I am doing this presentation, because it is really important, I believe, for the Mormon Church's top professional paid apologists to kind of get their messaging right to faithful, doubting, or questioning Mormons.
Yes, I agree, John.
We all benefit when they do. So what I'm going to do now is play a clip from the fireside that was shared by Jonathan Streeter on the YouTube channel, Thoughts on Things and Stuff. And then I'm going to share some reactions to it. So here is the clip.
Terryl, I listened to a podcast you were on maybe about a year ago, and I think there was an occasion where somebody was pointed in your direction. I think maybe the sister missionary was pointed in your direction, and you had a dialogue with her. There was some really good insight that I got from some of the questions you had for her. Is that something you recall?
Yeah, I do. I recall it very vividly because in some ways it kind of launched us on this journey. I was fortunate that I had a mission. There was a mission president in our area who knew us and our work, and there was a sister missionary who had decided that she was going to leave the church. She was finishing her mission the next week, and she'd made the decision to go home and leave. And her companion, of course, deeply distraught over this, and asked the mission president, could we go talk to Brother Givens? And he gave them permission to come and stay as long as they needed. So they stayed long into the night. And I listened to one after another question. And then finally, it occurred to me to ask this one question. And I said to her, in regard to one question in particular about Joseph Smith, and I said, sister, I said, why does the answer to that question matter? And it changed everything. It just caught her up short. And she thought for a minute and she said, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. So that was
Okay, so this is the premises of John's Mormon Stories show. This comment, this clip right here. Why does it matter? Oh my goodness, when I watched this, I wanted to scream. I'm not going to lie, I wanted to scream. So it matters, it does matter. And I had two questions pop into my head, and John is nicer than I am, because John would like to find out who this sister missionary is and be able to ask her some questions on based off this. My first two assumptions were, one, how true is this story, and is it just made up to be part of his apologetic, program and to give examples, and it's a made up lie to, example. So to, because we know the church, member or church leaders lie. So was this a true example or of someone who really went through this, or is this his story to try to, make the layman, you as the member watching this, or you as the ex-member watching this, think, hey, you know what? That solved the problem. You know, right there, solve the problem. Dismisses it all, solves the problem, and it's all good, and we're back to believing. Part of me goes, you know what? You know, is this really a true story? Or is he just, you know, throwing this out here, and because he wanted to dismiss it, he's making it a positive because he dismissed something that they really don't want to talk about? So why does it matter? It matters. You, as someone who grew up in the church, I was the black sheep of my ward and of my stake. So I moved from the New Brunswick, St. John, New Brunswick stake all the way out to Alberta. So actually, sorry, I moved from the St. John, New Brunswick stake to the Halifax, Nova Scotia stake for a year's period. And then I moved out to the here to Calgary, Alberta, to avoid the rep that I used to have as the black sheep. As a member of the church, you are expected to conform, and that's what it is, conform. You're to think alike. So you're to look alike. You're to have short hair if you're a male, well groomed. If you're going to have a beard, keep it nice and kept. I would be crapped on for something like this. So no tattoos whatsoever. You're not supposed to tattoo your body. You know, that's not becoming. No facial piercings, no earrings, no long hair. So don't be wearing baggy, loose, you know, clothes that makes you look like a bum. You need to look as a certain way. And that's why Mormon missionaries are white dress shirts and a dark slack pants. Short hair. It's to look conformed. So if you do not follow the conformity, so, and there's a point here. If you do not follow that conformity, you do not follow the appearance they suggest for you, you do not act the way they suggest for you, and if that is out of the character of who you are, like it was for me, that social pressure, that religious pressure is pushed onto you. You get hauled into your bishop's office, you get hauled into your stake president's office, you're chastised in young men's, you're chastised in priesthood classes for not being what is expected of you or becoming of a member of the church. So you have that social pressure to conform put on you. And why does this matter? Because this is all based off the teachings of Joseph Smith, their first leader and prophet. And in the Mormon LDS faith, you are taught and is driven home that if the Book of Mormon is wrong, then Joseph Smith is not correct. And if Joseph Smith is not correct, then the Book of Mormon is not correct. So both are the cornerstone of the LDS church. So Joseph Smith is to what Muhammad is to Muslims. Joseph Smith is revered from the moment that you have come out of your mom's womb. So if you're born into the church, if you're converted, you are hammered how great Joseph Smith was. This is why it matters, because Joseph Smith was not the great, what's the word I'm looking for, great man that he was. He wasn't a religious man. He often broke his own rules and structures and changed them to conform to what he wanted. And I will be doing a whole series on the LDS faith and Joseph Smith and his contradictions and hypocrisies. But, you know, we are trying to base ourselves on a fraudster. So the religion is based off a fraudster. So you're trying to conform and behave and look a certain way based off the teachings of a fraudster. Sorry, that's what it is. So, and we will go through the reasons in later blogs, video blogs. This is why it matters, because we are trying to follow a man who was a con artist and had been before the courts and charged for misdemeanors for foolery, so trickery, treasure hunting. We had a guy who started his own bank illegally against federal regulations and rules. We had a guy who often married women behind his wife's back against DNC 132. So, and the list goes on. This is why it matters, because we are trying to model ourselves after a fraudster and a con artist. And for many people, that's not who we are personally. And we struggle with that and we suffer depression from that. My depression from trying to follow the church's conformity was loaded on me. So as a teenager, I used to ask myself over and over, why couldn't I do it? Why did I struggle? Why did I have such a hard time? And prayed for the strength to conform to what I should have been, instead of just being who I was. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. That is why it matters. So John has on his TikTok, and I will be linking the TikTok link in the description. So 2 challenges for people, 2 campaigns he's doing. So here is John's information and his plea for help, and I'm going to play it here, guys. So let's cut it over to the other screen so you guys can get a better view. And
so here's what I'm asking all of you to do.
Please
get a TikTok account if you don't have one, and register it. Download the app, register an account. And I'm asking all my listeners to create just two 1-minute videos, okay? And here are the 2 1-minute.
I'm going to pause here for a second. Anyone know how I make a 1-minute video, for crying out loud? So if my buddy Jesus came down here and was visiting, I'd just ask him. He knows everything, but he has to go home. He had to sleep off a long night we had last night. That's why the music instruments are out. So Jesus and I were jamming last night. He got a little pissed off at God and decided to come down here and chill with me. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I can't ask Jesus how I make a 1-minute video. So, John, if you do see this, or anyone who knows how to make a 1-minute video here that are watching this on TikTok, let me know. So let's cut back on over.
Videos. One video that answers the question, what do you wish the Mormon Church had told you? So what I want is as many videos as possible where people on TikTok, Mormons and post-Mormons on TikTok, are sharing information that was withheld from them, ways that they were misled, ways that they were not allowed to engage the Mormon Church with informed consent. What do you wish you would have been told as a child, as a youth, before your missions, before your marriage? What do you wish you had been told? When you share that video on TikTok, share it with the tag Mormoninformedconsent. Mormoninformedconsent. So the #, the hashtag Mormoninformedconsent. And I just want to collect as many possible videos as I can, both for the book project, but also for these types of videos. I want to share these types of videos. And by tagging it appropriately, that will make it easy for me to find it. The second video that I want everyone within the shot of my voice to create on TikTok is, how did the Mormon Church harm you? And I want you to tag that in the description with the # Mormonharm, or the hashtag Mormonharm. Those are the 2 videos that I want you guys all to create. And your responses will be compiled by me into a book, hopefully, or a web project or a video project. We may want to make actually a movie or a video about the Mormon Church and informed consent. And so we would love your help. Finally,
please help
we have decided to use TikTok as a way. There's so many people that reach out to us and ask us to come on Mormon Stories podcast. So if you've always wanted to come on Mormon Stories podcast, what we're doing is we're asking you to show your support and your...
Okay, John. So if you ever want me on there, I'm offering right here, right now, to come onto your show and talk. I went through a hell of a time leaving the church. My exit story is kind of epic, sad, and shows the dark side of the church. My mom had left once before when I was younger, and her horror story is even worse than mine on exiting. So I'd love to be able to come on and expose the darker side, because I've read so many stories of people who've watched stories of people who've exited, where it's simply they sent their letter in, they got their exit letter, they were out, and no more to it. I wish it was that freaking easy. So John, so I'm offering you right now, right here, if you want someone to come on and talk about the darker, harder ways of getting out of the church and my past stories in the church. So I think I got a lot I can give, and for you guys who are watching, this will be eventually part of my Vblog series. I will be going through my life and exit within Mormonism and my journey afterwards to where I am now. But back on to this.
Interest by engaging with us on TikTok. And we're going to be pulling people from TikTok to have them tell their stories on Mormon Stories podcast. There's one other hashtag that I want to tell you about really briefly, and the hashtag is My Mormon Story. We want to encourage everyone within the sound of my voice to take the challenge of telling their Mormon story creatively, emotionally, within 1 minute on TikTok using the hashtag My Mormon Story. And I'm going to be perusing those tags as well and pulling from those TikToks clips for future Mormon Stories podcast episodes,
so you can see
and
more of that
potentially guests for Mormon Stories podcast.
Why it matters. He wants it hashtagged. Why Mormonism? Why it matters. Mormonharm is another one. This is my Mormonharm. He asked for a 1 minute video. I can't figure out 1 minute on there. I'm new to TikTok. I can't figure out. So this is my response. I will link that down there. I will link his podcast from YouTube down in the description link. But based on trying to model and conform ourselves after a fraudster and a con artist, it causes a lot of harm, leading to depression and suicide. So very, very harmful. So when we cannot conform to the LDS structure, Mormon structure, we are penalized for it, whether it's church disciplinary action on disfellowship, excommunication. So it doesn't matter, it is still there. So that is why it's harmful. You are pressured and forced into confirmation. I'm not going to drone on it. I'm not going to keep on. That's why Mormonism is harmful. Mormonharm. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. This was not to trash any of the members. This is strictly on the church and the church authorities. Excuse me. This has nothing to do with the members, many of them who are suffering and struggling. This all comes down to the upper echelons and those who control the church. So until then, this was the Atheist Apostate. I hope you guys all have a great day, and until the next video. See you later.